Live from Las Vegas, the Orange and Blue shoot for an incredible 17-game winning streak. We get you set for the Oilers and the Golden Knights on the Oil Stream pregame show. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the pregame show from the press level here at T-Mobile Arena. Tom Gazzola with you. It's been a fun day, and it all culminates tonight as the Oilers return to action against the Vegas Golden Knights after an all-star break that was, I would say, good for Oilers fans. I would also add that the team had its bye week and some time off, and now we'll see if they are recouped and ready to go, motivated certainly to try to tie the Pittsburgh Penguins of 1992-1993 when they won 17 straight. As always, you can hit us up in the inbox, 780-218-9999. You can get at us in the nasty chat as well. And I see it's already humming. The boys are on here. An LFG from Awanik Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. It was good to see them this morning. Everybody was kind of working their way through the morning, but I hope you all enjoyed what we brought to you live on location today in Vegas. And we're going to do pre and post from right here at T-Mobile Arena. It's been an interesting trip. It's been a fun trip. I've been kind of in and around the arena most of the day. I'm not sure how things went with the boys. Dusty wants to know why I didn't do my hair. I did my hair, Dusty. There's so much Swedish hair cream in here that I think I could, you could throw me in a wind tunnel and this stuff wouldn't even move. So it's good to go, and super pumped to be bringing this show from the road. YouTube Trev is back at the EST HQ. Zack is running the board today back at EST HQ. Joaquin Gage will be joining us, filling in for Matty Cassidy with Game Changers around 7 o'clock. We do have a bunch of audio to get to. We have some clips to get to. DVD was with us earlier. He did the rink report with me. We were pointing out the corner and behind the net where Philip Broberg took the holding penalty. I didn't love that call. It's the first time the Oilers have been here since that Game 5 loss. And then I was pointing to, I think it was around the penalty box area in the neutral zone where Matthias Janmark took, a high sticking penalty. So, so the Oilers and Stewart Skinner, who we're going to hear from later on, discussing that loss and the bad memories that they want to exercise those demons a little bit tonight. There's Lieutenant Eric getting in here. He says, I love you, Tom. Lieutenant Eric, I love you too, pal. I hope you're doing well. That is beautiful. Shout out to Stauffer, who's behind me in one of the broadcast booths. I don't know where exactly. I think I saw him earlier. He's on the air as well. Shout out to Staff. We finally got him on. We got him on EST, and hopefully not the last time for sure for our good friend Bob. No longer future EST guest, but EST guest today, Bob Stauffer. So we've got a great show, and we're going to load it up. But let's get to Zack to come here. Pal, how you doing? You feeling confident at the helm? Are you in, has the place burnt down? Have you guys burnt down the studios? We left it all to you guys. What's going on?
No, it hasn't been burning. We've been good
Thank
so
God.
far, hanging out here. I've been here quite some time today. Trev was here for the morning show. We've been cooking. We've been getting excited for this game, and we're pumped.
Are you wearing a Golden Knights hat?
I knew you were going to notice it, and I was waiting for it. I'm the troll. I have to wear the opposing team's hat, and I just did it for the jokes.
Okay. Now, did you already own this hat, or did you go buy it for this game specifically?
I've had it for quite some time, so it's been in my collection for a little bit now, and I don't know. I like the fit of the hat.
All right. Well, if you're listening, Zack is wearing a Golden Knights hat. If you're watching, I feel like the nasty chat. I'm going to take a look. Jimmy says, take that hat off now, traitor. And Jody says, I should have worn a loud shirt. I got the red tie going. Zack, I think what you're doing right now with that hat is more foul than anything I've done with my wardrobe today. Corey says, you're fired, Zack. He is not approving that hat that you decided to wear. Did you not wear like a LA Kings jersey during the playoffs last year?
Yeah.
In the moss pit?
It was insane.
Did I see that?
Yeah. So
are you crazy?
I lost my fantasy, and that was a punishment that I got. I went to Game 5, LA versus the Oilers down in the moss pit, and I had a couple bodyguards with me because I was wearing a Dustin Brown jersey and this hat, and it looked like the LA Kings affiliate team. So I just wore it as a joke to see if anyone could catch on. Everybody thought it was a part of the LA Kings outfit just because of the logo, but nobody mentioned that it was a Vegas Golden Knights hat, which was surprising. But yeah, no, I had a good time.
Oh, yeah, I bet you did. People asking where Trev is. Where's Trev? Is he okay?
Trev is walking out into the main area now. He ran away. He's sick of me wearing the hat already. You know, I had a bad hair day. I should have borrowed some of the Swedish hair cream, Tom.
I can get you some, pal. You are getting absolutely torched in the nasty chat, rightly so. And I can appreciate some of the stuff that's being thrown out there. All right, smash that thumbs up button. We appreciate it very, very much. If you have any questions or comments or anything, let us know, 780-218-9999 if you want to text us. And then if you want to hit us up in the nasty chat, right now it's just Zack getting torched, which I think is more than okay. He is wearing a Vegas Golden Knights hat right now back at ESTHQ. For those who are joining us, maybe you're on the roads. How's the weather? I heard we got more snow. The roads are a little slick. Is everybody taking it a bit slower out there? If you're driving right now, Zack, to come give me a quick weather update.
Honestly, for the last little bit, I haven't checked outside. Trev, how was the weather? It's good. Yeah, it's not snowing or anything.
It's good. Okay.
No.
Okay. Good.
No,
Good.
we're doing good.
Well, if you're joining us and you're on the roads, be safe out there. And if it makes you feel any better, the weather here hasn't been particularly great. About 10 degrees, overcast, and a lot of rain. There was some flooding as well inside the arena. Freezing cold as per usual inside the press box. I feel like it's going to get loud. I'm going to keep the mic this close and just keep me posted. Zack DeComb's got things covered in terms of audio, but it was they had a bit of music going earlier. And they played, and that bass was going, and man, it was loud and it was pumping. I feel like you're going to hear it right away as we roll along and get closer and closer to puck drop. All right, the 29-15-1 Oilers taking on the 29-15-6 Vegas Golden Knights. We'll see if Edmonton can keep this heater going, and they'll do it with this lineup. This is what we're anticipating tonight for the Oil. Connor McDavid between Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman. Leon Draisaitl between Evander Kane and Warren Fogle. Ryan McLeod centering the recently recalled Dylan Holloway and the newly signed, it's still kind of weird to say, Corey Perry. And he's playing in his second game as a member of the Edmonton Oilers. The fourth line, Derek Ryan between Matthias Janmark and Connor Brown. On defense, no changes for the Oil. Nurse, Ceci, Ekholm, Bouchard, Kulak with Desharnais, Sam Gagner, the guy that was skating by himself late during the optional morning skate. That is the indicator that he is the odd man out for this one. As for the Vegas Golden Knights, here is what we're anticipating from their lineup tonight. Nicholas Waugh between Ivan Barbashev and Jonathan Marchessault. Chandler Stevenson between Paul Cotter and Mark Stone. William Karlsson, who was a bit dinged up, anticipating he's back with Jonas Ronbjörg and Michael Amadio, and then Brett Howden between Brendan Brisson and Keegan Colasar. On defense, Alec Martinez with Alex Pietrangelo, Braden McNabb with Caden Korzak, and then Nicholas Hague with Zach Whitecloud. The Golden Knights a little bit nicked up. You got Jack Eichel, IR, lower body. Pavel Dorofeev, day-to-day upper body. William Carrier, IR, upper body. Shea Theodore, IR, upper body. Ben Hutton, IR, upper body. And Tobias Bjornfoot, IR, undisclosed. That brings us to starting goalies for the Edmonton Oilers. The smiling guy with the big mustache, 25-year-old Stewart Skinner, 23-9-1 on the season. 244 goals against average, 910 save percentage, 2 shutouts in 34 games this season. Skinner versus the Golden Knights, a 3-0-1 record, a 362 goals against average, 872 save percentage in 4 appearances lifetime versus Vegas. At the other end of the rake, we are anticipating 27-year-old Adin Hill getting the start. 12-2-2 is his record this season. 1.94 GAA, 936 save percentage, 2 shutouts for Hill in 17 games played. He was a bit nicked up as well. Lifetime versus the Oilers, Adin Hill an 0-1-1 mark, 262 goals against average, 889 save percentage, 3 appearances versus the Oil in his career. Of course, that's all regular season. We know what happened last year in the playoffs. So there you go. There is your lineups and your anticipated starting goalies for this matchup tonight. You can hit us up in the inbox 780-218-9999, or you can get at us in the nasty chat. I'm going to throw out the question of the night, and we're going to put it to Zack to come first. So Zack to come, get ready. I don't know how you're going to. Are you doing it? You're wearing? Oh, look at that! He switched his hat.
I had to. I saw what was happening in chat. Rightfully so, though. But I made the switch.
Fired by everybody. Yeah,
I'm already done.
Even Eric was mad at you. Unbelievable. All right, Zack to come, and to our listeners and our viewers, question of the night is this: do you believe the Oilers will be able to return to action hot out of the gate, or do you think the team will be lethargic after 9 days off? You tell us, 780-218-9999. And then, of course, if you're watching on YouTube, hit us up in the nasty chat. Zack to come, I put the question out there. You get first crack at it.
I feel like the boys are fired up after the All-Star break. McDavid got his $1 million check, and they're going to come out guns a-blazing.
Guns a-blazing. All right. I like that. I think that they're going to have to be coming out guns a-blazing. I think that they're going to have to be sharp. I think that this is probably a good scenario that the Golden Knights are the team that they're facing first, because if they were playing some team, a meddling team, let's say, out of the Eastern Conference, I think that maybe the legs wouldn't be there. Maybe the jump wouldn't be there. Maybe the fire wouldn't be there. But you get the Golden Knights, you get the Pacific Division rivals from Vegas, you get a team that you're chasing, the team that beat you in the playoffs last year, the team that won the Stanley Cup last year, that smacks you in the face and says, you need to wake up. There is no being slow out of the gates for the Oilers tonight. So I actually like this scenario. Do I know how the Oilers are going to do tonight? No. Do I think we're in for a good game? Absolutely. But I feel like the Golden Knights being the opponent the Oilers get out of the All-Star break and the bye week is actually a good thing to get this team going right away. Now, if they come out here and lay an absolute egg and it's a dud of a performance, yikes. Then there's going to be a lot of chatter going into Anaheim, certainly. What the heck was that? But if they come out here, Vegas wakes them up, Vegas is firing on all cylinders, I think we're in for a hell of a game for sure in front of, I think there's going to be a few thousand Oilers fans. I saw a lot of Oilers jerseys today. As I was making my way to get set up here for the pregame show at T-Mobile Arena, I saw a huge contingent of orange and blue doing a big cheer right outside the plaza before things were getting kicked up. So it is going to be rowdy in here. You can hear the music. They got it going. The bass is going. Hopefully I'm still sounding okay as we get you set for this one. So question of the night one more time. Do you believe the Oilers will be able to return to action hot out of the gate, or do you think the team will be lethargic after 9 days off? Andy Pandy says this game will be nasty. This game is going the distance. Andy Pandy, I like it. Zedmo says it's going to be a wild one. Fish Tank says, was Zack to come wearing a Flames hat? Almost as bad. Almost as bad. He was wearing a Golden Knights hat. And Norman at Combine, I like this, Norm, says Perry sets the tone with a 5-minute major. That's a bold one. That take is hot, Norm. That take is hot. All right. Let's get to our first bit of audio and video. We're going to go inside the Oilers locker room. We're going to hear from head coach Chris Knoblauch from this morning.
It's an unbelievable number, an opportunity. Do you guys talk about it? Do you want to make the point that there's history on the line, or you want to stay away from that? I'm never quite sure how a coach and a team approaches this kind of opportunity.
I think everyone knows what's going on, but do we talk about it? No. It might get mentioned in the room with the players. I don't think they spend a lot of time on it, but it's pretty cool that we're in this situation. But we are just obviously with the rivalry against the Golden Knights and how good they are, and we're playing some pretty good hockey, and we're just getting ready for probably a pretty good hockey game.
Do you think maybe your demeanor has sort of rubbed off on the players? Like, you're not making a big deal out of it, so maybe they're not, even though it is big, but you're just kind of going about your regular business.
Often, a lot of the times your team will be thinking about things the coaches brings up and what they're talking about in the dressing room between periods or pre-scouts and all that, but if that's kind of that's their feel about it, whether that's for me or just the leadership in the room, I'm not sure. But I want to take things short term, whether it was when I came in early in the year, after it was a game 13 or 14. I came for my first game and didn't want to look at the long picture. We broke the season up in little segments because we didn't want to see what was going to happen in game 82 or game 78 or whatever it was. We just want to look at our next game or even just the next week, what our schedule was and what we needed to get better at. And same approach when we were, at the bottom of the standings, same approach when we're moving on up.
As a group and as a collective, just to piggyback off of that, is it easier said than done to focus on the small things, like your next shift, your next period, your next game, when there's so much noise around this team, whether good or bad?
So much easier thinking about what you have to control the controllables. And if we look at so many things and go back to the beginning of the year and seeing where we were in the standings and who we needed to pass, and you look at what their schedule is and if they're winning games, that's out of our control. And if we're thinking about things that are out of our control, we're just wasting energy, we're wasting time. And, if we just are very short-sighted at the moment and think about our next shift or even our next game, it's just so much easier for everyone to perform at their best.
You guys welcome the break because it did look towards the end there that you were running a little low on steam, I guess, just mentally and physically. Was the break a good thing for your group?
Often when things are going well, you don't want a break. You don't want to get away from the momentum and take that away. But I think that's a fair assessment that I think we were doing a lot of good things and just doing enough to win hockey games. But I think guys were getting tired and needing a break, and hopefully our batteries recharged and we had 2 good skates, and I think guys are energized, and hopefully we can have another push.
I know you weren't here last year, but it was a pretty devastating loss here last year in the playoffs, and some guys, it still seems like it still lingers a little bit. And how would you getting that sense that they're excited to come back here and try to make right or wrong, I guess?
I think there's been certain games, opposition that we've had that there's a bit of a rivalry, whether it's playing Calgary or LA or Vegas because of the matchups in the playoffs, and obviously the Calgary Edmonton, that goes without saying. But you can tell the demeanor on the guys getting a little more excited about those games, and we'll see how we respond today, and if that break was good for us or not. We'll that time will tell.
Chris, Brayden McNabb played a critical part in your WHL championship in Kootenay. He's a core piece in this organization. Just a thought on all these years later. Any surprise to you that he's had the kind of career success that he has based upon your experience coaching him before?
No, the only surprise is he had to kind of move around before he really established himself as a really good NHL player, and he's kind of found his home here and has done very well. I have a lot of respect for Brayden. Brayden was my first captain when I became a head coach, and his play was exceptional, which led us to a league title in the WHL. And Brayden, being a small town farm boy that's grew up not very far from me, obviously I have a lot of respect for him.
All right, there was head coach Chris Knoblauch. 26-6 is his record since taking over behind the bench for the Edmonton Oilers. All right, let's get to some texts and some nasty chats. Got some big ones here. Pillman with some positivity. I love it. Finally, Tommy, the Oilers have returned to Vegas, and time to lay the smack down on those jabronis. Ha ha, says Pillman. Pillman, I love it. Appreciate it. Hopefully, we are in for a doozy of a matchup. Let's go to the nasty chat. Let's see what's going on there. What's going on, Gonzo? Pick Brownie on Tim's challenge. He's going to pot one for sure. Meow. Love the meow, Dr. Gonzo. Maybe he gets one. Maybe he gets off the schneid and scores a big goal here in Vegas. All right, let's go back inside the Oilers locker room. Let's hear from tonight's starter, the one and only Stewart Skinner.
Just conversation with the player about the streak, and I don't know if we talk about it more or the fans talk about it more. The coach said he kind of mentions it, and you guys might talk about it a bit, but not much more than that. Is that kind of the way it is in the room about this number?
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think we don't really, it's not really in our conversations in the dressing rooms. We're more so just trying to plan for the game. We're taking everything one day at a time and just keep on trying to stack wins on top of each other and just playing the right way.
Your name has popped up as a possible member of Team Canada for Four Nations and maybe the Olympics. And just want thought on that, and now that you guys are going to get to play in those tournaments.
Yeah, that's it's obviously an honor to hear your name be among all the Team Canada people that are able to play, eligible to play. So it's a very it's a huge honor whenever you're able to be part of that conversation. So it's very nice to hear.
This seemed like it was very player driven. Like you guys wanted to play based on best tournament. You want to represent your country. A lot of guys haven't had that opportunity as NHLers. How big was it, for the players? How big is something like this?
I mean, it's big for everybody who's able to represent their country, right? It's it's a huge honor to put on any type of jersey from where you were born. For me, I've gotten the chance to play in a couple tournaments and haven't had the opportunity yet, obviously as an NHLer. But I mean, if ever the opportunity comes my way, it'd be incredible. I'd have a ton of fun, and I'm sure a lot of these other guys' names have been on that list too.
But it comes at because the Olympics falls right smack in the middle of your season. I guess I understand the trepidation, but as a player, you look at that and going, okay, if I get to play in this thing, I'll be gone for 2 weeks, and then I got to come back. And how does that kind of work as a player?
Part of the job, part of the business, and it's also something that we want to do. So it's wherever that tournament is, you can put it in the middle of summer. I'm sure everyone would be itching to play for their country and play for trying to beat the other countries that you go up against. So, but to be honest, like having this conversation right now, it's not going to do me any justice. So it's not doesn't really affect what's going on right now, which is playing Vegas tonight.
Stuart, on the brink of history tonight, of course, but can you talk about the mental discipline it takes for yourself in the crease and everyone else as a collective to focus on the small segments of the game leading up to hopefully a big result?
Yeah, it's massive. I think being able to, just like what you said, having that discipline, especially mentally, I think is crucial. Being able to win games, because like we've seen the past many games. I mean, this whole season, it's there's ups and downs. There's different things that happen. A lot of emotions set in when you play a hockey game. So being able to stay focused on those little things, our little segments throughout the periods, trying to get to the timeout. When we're able to get that, it's kind of, when you look at it, it's kind of 5-minute segments, and just trying to win every 5 minutes.
Sorry, Tony. No, a lot of the takeaway from not winning in the playoffs last year came from that game where you guys had a lead and then the momentum got going in here and it got all crazy and you lost the lead and you lost the game. It seems like that's something you guys have really improved on this year. Is that a moment for this team? Was that a major learning moment here in this building?
Yeah, I think so. I think you saw it happen quite a bit actually in playoffs, not even against Vegas, but also against LA last year too, where we would go up and then we get, it felt like 10 penalties in a row, but it was obviously less than that. But things just kind of maybe didn't go your way at some point, and then you can either fall apart or you can work your way up. I think last year, especially in this building, I think we fell apart a couple times, and that starts with me. I fell apart a couple times, and I think that was a huge learning lesson for us. And going into this season, the beginning of the season, how that all kind of revealed itself, and then being able to learn all those lessons from the playoffs at the start of the season to today. I think those are big lessons learned for us, and I think you are seeing a pattern of us having a little bit more discipline mentally, being able to just stick together through all those moments where maybe it doesn't go your way.
Those moments are coming again when you go to the playoffs this year. They're coming. They're going to be there.
I'm sure they'll come tonight. I'm sure they'll come tonight. It happens every game. It happens every practice. It's honestly, it's pretty well an everyday thing. Like you got to go through those moments every single day, and to fight your way back up, and really that shows what the team character is. And I think the way we're moving right now, and our character and the guys that we have in the room, I think we're showing that we have a lot of character.
did last season fester a little too much early on in the group? Did that kind of carry over?
I can't say for my teammates. For myself, it probably took a couple weeks in the summer for me to let it go, and then after that it was back to work and back to, you like to learn those lessons as quickly as possible, and I thought I did, and then going into the season I thought I was right back at it.
You're taking on a Golden Knights squad that has found their rhythm again, 5-1-1 in their last 7. When this team is in a rhythm, that opposition, what makes them so dangerous all over the ice?
I mean, I think defensively they're so compact, they're so strong. They just stay together. They don't let other teams get to the middle of the ice too often, which is massive. Kind of being able to keep the shots from the outside. I also think when they're feeling it too, their offenses. I mean, you see those players that I'll be facing tonight, and they know how to score. They know how to move the puck well. They got some shooters. They won the cup last year, and there's a reason for that. So yeah, they're a dangerous place all over the ice. I will also say their power play is a very, very, very strong power play. So it's a really good test for us, as it always is when we play these guys. And yeah, it'll be a fun match.
All right, there's Stewart Skinner. The Golden Knights power play, by the way, 18th in the National Hockey League, 20.1%, 34 for 169. Edmonton up into 4th place on the PP, 27%, 38 goals on 141 opportunities. Vegas's penalty killing is 14th, so kind of middle of the road special teams for the Golden Knights, 80.6%, 6 shorties scored. Edmonton, meanwhile, 6th in the National Hockey League on the PK at 83%, and for short-handed tallies for the orange and the blue. I have a text I want to get to, and I'm going to throw out the question of the night one more time, and it does have to do with the question of the night. Good response. So question of the night is this: do you believe the Oilers will be able to return to action hot out of the gate, or do you think the team will be lethargic after 9 days off? This text comes in from Chris from Fort Mac. Says, Tommy, this is Chris from Fort Mac. Look at the Oilers this season after breaks. They have had 2 lengthy breaks already. 4-game heater, 6-day break, and win another 4. 2-game win streak and 5-day break, and they have not lost since. Seems like the breaks give them a chance to refocus and come out better. Both those games, they came out of the break scoring 5+ goals in each game, outscoring their opponents 11-1. Fort Mac is where it's at, because Chris is coming at us with the stats. I love it. Great text, Chris from Fort Mac. Really appreciate that, and that is a good sign. And the Oilers are going to have to be wide awake coming out of the gates against these Vegas Golden Knights. All right, I was going to go around the National Hockey League. There's 8 games tonight, but we're going to get Gager on. He's ready to rock. Let's bring him on, Zack, to come. Joaquin Gage filling in for Matty Cassidy tonight. Gager, what's up? That was a great text from Chris out in Fort Mac. Says the Oilers have been really good after little breaks. This one's a lengthy break, obviously. And when you look at the Oilers and this situation, do you think that they will come out of the gates hot, or do you think that they're going to be a little sluggish? What say you, Gager? Oh, you're muted, Gager. You're muted. I want to hear that voice, Joaquin.
Every
there
time.
you are.
Sorry, buddy.
What are you, Cass?
I know. I've been making tributes to Cass quite frequently today. But yeah, good to see you. Glad you're having a good time in Vegas. Great shows today. The smiles. It's a lot of FOMO up north right now with all the boys. But so are they going to be lethargic? I don't think so, Tommy. It's from all accounts, this team has shown a level of maturity that prepares them for every game that they play. Whether it's the style of play has allowed them over the past, I would say, 3 or 4 games to kind of feel their way into playing against possibly lower competition, aside from the Predators game. But I think that this is a game that's been circled on the calendar even before the season started, or once the regular season came out. This is a chance to go up against a team that A, won the Stanley Cup, and B, knocked you out of the chances of holding the chalice. So I think both teams are going to be revved up to play this game. Will there be maybe not as sharp. I could see that after 2 weeks. As we all know, your golf swing kind of falters tremendously if you're not consistently practicing, Tommy. If you take 2 weeks off, you gotta keep at it. And so, yeah, it's going to be intense, but I think we might see just the timing of things just a little bit off, which makes actually for exciting hockey with maybe a few more mistakes and a few more chances. So I yes and no, I guess, to answer your question.
Well, yes and no. Actually, that was a really, really elegant, well-articulated response, even though it's on the fence with a yes and a no. But I get it. I get it, Gager. And you made me laugh because I'm like, yeah, my golf swing sucks after I don't practice. It sucks to begin with, but touche. That one hit me right in the feels, dog. That one hit me right in the feels. It is Tom Gazzola and Joaquin Gage with you here on the Oil Stream pregame show. Zack to come and YouTube Trev holding things down at ESTHQ. We've got 41 minutes on the board here at T-Mobile Arena. They've let fans in, and oh my, Gager, you're going to love this. First of all, the majority of the fans here are wearing Oilers jerseys. There's probably about 1,000 people that have kind of slowly made their way in. There is a crew of obviously from Edmonton or Northern Alberta. They're wearing the outfits that the Oilers wore to the Heritage Classic.
Oh my God, really?
They've got the hats. They've got the suit, like what is it, like a jumpsuit basically from the oil patch. It looks awesome. Very reflective. Fantastic. This is going to be good.
I love the fact that, if anywhere, we can't complain about the winters that we've had, Tommy, this year. It's been basically springtime throughout, for the exception of like a week. But to get out of Edmonton, in the doldrums of February, where it's getting a little bit lighter, but not really. Vegas, great destination to go to watch your team. I think the plan of having a professional hockey team in Vegas is working out. This is a destination spot for any diehard hockey fan for the love of their team to come out and have a good time. And it makes a better experience for the players playing in a stadium where you got fans. It's probably, it probably goes to like 50-50. It's like playing the Leafs. It's almost like this is how the Toronto Maple Leafs feel going around to Canadian cities, and let's face it, most of the American cities as well.
Man, oil country does travel super well, especially when you've got a direct down to Vegas. It's not warm here. It's warmer than back home, but you know what? It's going to be hot in this building for sure. And, man, like you see some fans coming in and all they're wearing is Oilers stuff. Gager, I swear to God, I don't see a Golden Knights jersey anywhere yet. This is crazy. So I think we're in for a doozy, and maybe the Oilers can deliver for basically mini Edmonton, which has made its way down to T-Mobile Arena. All right, 780-218-9999. If you have any questions or you want to get some comments in, that is the inbox number. And then, of course, if you're watching on YouTube, hit us up in the nasty chat. It is time now to get to Game Changers with Joaquin Gage. Brought to you, as always, by Damon Bunting RE/MAX Elite. Damon Bunting, consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton. And among RE/MAX realtors, he and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Joaquin Gage, numero uno tonight. Back to work like the gentlemen dressed like rig workers.
Yeah, the fans have got their work boots and hard hats on. I can't see the Oilers not doing the same. Like I said, Tommy, this is a circled game on the calendar, and these are what I refer to during the season as those measuring stick games, right? Of course, the Oilers are on a little bit of a tear here. Well, a bit of a tear, I guess you could say. You're going up against the Vegas Golden Knights. Little bit of a depleted lineup on the Knights side. So, and I know that the mantra from the Oilers in the dressing room is worry about themselves, but you can't deny that they're probably looking at that and saying this is a great opportunity for them to establish a solid game against a team that they most likely are going to be playing first round in the playoffs. I do like the fact that you can get in there and gain a little bit of confidence. Like winning in that building isn't an easy task, and to come out of there and with the victory can do a lot for the team's confidence.
The Golden Knights, Gager, have played very well on home ice this season. Their home record is 18-5-2. They've rattled off 3 straight wins. The Oilers, excellent on the road right now. They've won 9 in a row away from Rogers Place. They have a 13-9 record overall on the road. Obviously, they started like hot garbage this season, but they've turned that around. So it is going to be an interesting one, because the Golden Knights want to defend the fortress, as they call this place the fortress. So we'll see. But, we've got the power of the Oilers, 9 in a row on the road. You got 3 wins in a row for the Golden Knights in the fortress as they defend the fortress. So that's going to clash and collide in front of us tonight. Number 2 on Game Changers, Gager, close the gap.
Yeah, I mean, another great opportunity to get within 3 points with, I believe, is it 4 games in hand if all goes well for the Oilers. I mean, gosh, Tommy, looking back, and I know we've mentioned this, I did not see after the horrendous start of the Edmonton Oilers that we'd be seeing them within after tonight, a possibility of getting within 3 points of the Knights with games in hand. Those games in hand are going to be difficult, though. Like there's a lot of packed games in April that they're going to have to deal with. But man, I just that's another thing that this team has to be looking at. Home ice advantage, I think, is going to be crucial in coming out of the Pacific, getting off to the good start. I like the fact that they've put themselves in this position. Now they just got to execute and make sure that after tonight that they're within even closer striking distance, because the cast mentioned it today on Two Guys. The difference between 3 points and 7 points is huge, even though they would have still like the 4 games in hand.
Totally. There's only 2 games left against Vegas. The Oilers did beat the Golden Knights earlier this season in Edmonton in a shootout, 5-4. So they gave up. They leaked the point to the Golden Knights. You only get this game and then one later on in the season, and that is closing the gap if they can get it done in regulation. But if you're the Knights, you're looking at the Oilers, you're going, I want to keep these guys at bay, and they're going to look for a regulation win as well. So should be interesting as that all plays out tonight. We do have some texts that I want to get to, but before we do that, Gager, number 3 on Game Changers tonight. I love this one. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, except for the 2 points. They stay with you.
Yeah, we can't read the rest of that text, but that's okay, Tommy.
Was I?
No.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to read that.
Don't read the rest of that.
No, it's a reference to The Hangover.
Yeah.
So great movie.
No, I mean look, it's great to get down to Vegas. Everything that's going on. A lot of times in the dressing room, you'll talk about taking the old adage, let's try to win the game and get the 2 points and hopefully we win 2. That was usually said by the prima donna scorers at the time. Right. But no, I again, this is an unbelievable opportunity to close the gap and to go in there against a team. Mentioned it before, you're probably going to see them in the first round of the playoffs. Getting the confidence built, knowing that you can take down the fortress, Tommy. Again, it's going to help the Oilers moving forward if they get into a series, knowing that they can win in that building. I mean, that's what you want to do. They've kind of holding serve at this point. They're going back into there after winning at home. That was a big confidence boost for the Oilers. They went on a tear after beating the Golden Knights, even though it wasn't a shootout, and then coming back at the end late. Just massive confidence builder for the Oilers to moving forward against this team.
Gager, a couple of texts I want to get to. Someone, actually, Pillman wants to know, does Gager have the leather on tonight? You got any leather on?
I can't show what I'm wearing. This is just a deluxe hoodie, but from the waist down, you know how I roll, Tommy.
Spicy, man. Spicy. Okay, let's get to a couple of texts here. And then I do have a question for you as well that popped up into my mind, because prior to the Golden Knights, there was hockey here for quite some time. So something came up, and I do want to ask you, but let's get to these ones. This one, just says, any chance that everybody got a good night's rest? That's from the Hurton Albertan. I think some people, but not all. Definitely not all. Jason the pharmacist says, Tommy, I understand the concern about being lethargic, but hasn't Vegas had a bit of a break too? No excuses. Gager is right. Both teams will be good to go. Mike in Thunder Bay says, gentlemen, I'm going to be tired and crappy at work tomorrow, but it will be so worth it to watch the Oilers tie the NHL record. Mike in Thunder Bay also, I didn't use the word that he used, but I just kind of cleaned it up a little bit. This one says, greetings from the nation's capital. Love the Death Star mics that Tommy and Gager are sporting. Gager, what were you going to say there?
Oh, no, I wanted to ask you, Tommy, like, what do you get from the team? What's their demeanor with this game? I know they say all the right things, but what do you grab from them going into this game? Is there a little bit more tension? You know, everyone talks about the streak right now and how important that is, but I mean, I have to agree with Knoblauch that the streak is something else, but I think actually the 2 points of this game is at the forefront of the minds of the team just because of who they're going up against.
The vibe is business-like. It seems like focused. And yes, I mean, obviously we're talking about this streak. Everyone's talking about the streak. Heck, ESPN on Pardon the Interruption led with this storyline saying the Oilers are going for their 17th straight win. You had Around the Horn talking about the Oilers. Like, it's so rare to see that. And we're watching down here having lunch, Jack Michaels and I, and we're like, look at that. Like that, it is a big deal. But I will give these guys credit. The Oilers, that is. They seem to be very businesslike. And you know what, Gager? When this stuff comes up, the discussion about the streak, them playing better, obviously, the turnaround, there's almost like you can sense it in how they talk about the success that they're having, like guilt, you know, for how poorly they started. And it still lingers. And I kind of like that they keep that in mind. I really do. And I think that that's a good thing. So that's my read on it. What does that make you think when you hear that?
No, I like that. Again, that's I fall back on the maturity of the team where it, you know, they were saying all the right things when it was in the garbage tank. And you know what, we know we're better than this. And, you know, you mentioned the guilt factor of having that type of start, and really seems like a team that, although, you know, this is what I was worried about most, and I believe you brought it up, they had a summer of nothing but praise and expectations put upon them from the summer to the captain skates to the start of even the play of Jack Camp, like everything was lining up to just, you know, they were going to hit the ground running and tear into the start of the season, and it just went completely sideways on them. But it does seem like they're not treating it any differently from that side. When things are going great, they're still mentioning parts of their game that they need to shore up, or there's always their quest for perfection is very intriguing for me. It's one thing to say it, another thing to do it, but I don't think you can argue. We've seen them kind of walk the walk and talk the talk at the same time over these last few months.
Yeah, and that is the difference now, it seems like, Gager, because they always say the right things. Going into the season, you're like, oh, you know, they seem to be in the right mindset after a tough loss to the Golden Knights in the playoffs. And then they stunk. They were terrible. And I remember I asked Evander Kane one morning when they dropped the first 2 games to Vancouver, like, hey, gloom and doom, you feeling? He goes, yeah, you know, it's terrible. The world's falling apart. The sky's falling, blah, blah, blah. And then they sucked. They were terrible for the next few weeks still. But now there's like legitimacy to it because, like you said, they're walking the walk, and you can go, okay, this seems like they've finally matured. It took a really harsh lesson in how poorly they were playing, but it feels like maybe they actually figured it out. Something clicked in their mind, and maybe it was because they had to get 2 coaches fired. I don't know, you know?
Yeah,
but it's working.
Yeah, no, it definitely is working. I think the simplification of the management of the game has helped them. I talked about it today with Dusty, kind of comparing the two teams, and they're almost unrecognizable if you looked at the exact same points in the season. Mm-hmm. And even though both teams were playing quite well, the Oilers really went off at this point, right? And and I think it was more a team that found their offensive mojo. I mean, you look no further than that power play, but again, in that series against the Golden Knights last year, I think that power play hurt the Oilers more than it helped the Golden Knights because of the emotional lift of shutting down the best power play in the NHL ever. Mm-hmm. It wasn't successful, and you could see it. The guys coming onto the bench from the Oilers looking completely disgruntled, where the Knights were like, yes, we killed that off. Let's tear into this. So now we see a team that's not overly pressing to have something happen every single shift. You don't see the hope plays as much. Pucks are managed more effectively if there's nothing there. It's put into areas where guys are able to recover. You know, they're making much better reads on the defensive side of the puck and positioning and getting themselves ready to withstand maybe counterattacks at that point. Not giving teams freebies and making them earn every inch. And that's, I mean, I think Dusty said I liked Woodcroft, but something that Knoblauch has implemented with his team has that type of structure, which is, you know, playoff hockey.
Yeah. Dare I say mature hockey?
Yeah, it is. It's very tough to, I mean, any hockey. I don't care where you play, men's division, little kids, you want to score, you want to do stuff, you want to make stuff happen. And Ekholm said it when things were really in the pooper there. Every shift doesn't have to be this miraculous thing, right? Sometimes just a steady, hard-nosed shift where you didn't give up anything. Maybe there wasn't a lot of fireworks on it, but you managed the puck well. You didn't give up much. Maybe you didn't create anything, but it was a solid shift, and that's okay because they're not all gonna be buttes, Clark.
No,
and you gotta make sure that type of progression goes through 3 periods, and that's, I think, the biggest reason for the Oilers' success so far.
780-218-9999. It is the Oilers and Golden Knights. Edmonton coming out of the All-Star / bye-week break. Tom Gazzola live on location at T-Mobile Arena up in press level. If you're wondering where the heck I am, Gager back at his satellite studios in Edmonton, and then Zack to come and YouTube Trev holding things down, not burning down our actual studios. Edmonton Sports Talk Global HQ, as the sign now reads outside our door in our industrial office building that's so nondescript. We'll get a sign up outside at some point too, Gager. But yeah, everything's kosher so far, and we're holding it down. Really cool to be coming at you back on the road, man. It feels so good. Okay, we have a couple of texts to get to. 780-218-9999. I have a question for Gager that I want to ask him, and then I want to throw some of these questions at him as well. People bringing up some things. This one from C-Dub in Tulsa. All right, okay. Oklahoma represent to put it on the board. This one from C-Dub in Tulsa says, love the show, Tommy. Question, what are the odds on Connor Brown getting a hattie tonight? Might be worth a $5 wager. Just kidding. Seriously, though, what does he need to do to finally score? He is similar in ice time and shots on goal to Ryan McLeod, who has 9 goals plus 11. There must be some way to get him going. Thoughts, Gager?
Oh, geez. I don't know. He's had ample opportunity to score. It's gotten to the point where, you know, you just hope it happens. You know, like he's doing the right things. I think it's just, I mean, when it goes wrong, it really goes wrong. He's, by the look of it, it does seem like he is skating better, though, Tommy. Like and a little bit more, not that he wasn't as much, but a little bit more engaged physically. I know when you do come off, it's been mentioned before, but when you do come off an injury, there's a tendency to just, am I still going to be okay? I think he's finally gotten to the point where he trusts the leg at this point and can kind of go all out. It's a matter of time, but it's the Nuke Lelouch. Don't think, meet, just throw, and he's just got to shoot the puck on net, go to hard areas, and eventually I do think it will happen to him because he is a talented hockey player. But
he is.
And it would be great if he could kind of get going there where he is in the lineup. If they can provide some, not that they don't provide some offensive zone time, but a little bit of additional scoring from that part of your lineup can always help.
Tilt the ice a little bit, right? Well, we'll see if they can get it down. Connor Brown tonight is going to be, or anticipated to be, playing on a line with Derek Ryan and Matthias Janmark. All right, let's go to Ken. Ken Texan says, Tommy, where the heck are you broadcasting? Press level in my seat here at T-Mobile Arena. Did security kick you guys out of the hangout spot this morning? No, they did not. They were great. We got the okay from Park MGM. And Ken adds, I hope the Oilers aren't lethargic and punish the lying, cheating Knights, who will probably LTIR Eichel to get help on trade deadline day. I love that, Ken. Ken's getting spicy. He wants some Oilers hockey, so I love it. This one from Displaced Yukoner says, with the streak on the line, this really feels like a playoff game. Gager, we're getting that vibe in this morning, like very business-like, and so, and again, so many Oilers jerseys here, but yeah, kind of a little bit of a mini playoff game.
Well, it was that letdown after the Predators game, afternoon Saturday, and it's like we don't get hockey for how long?
Right?
It was kind of it's that moment in the cable guy when everyone just turns off the TV and starts reading or knitting or doing something else, right? So what are we gonna? And now, I don't think it hurts that Connor has $1 million check in his back pocket, and that went well. Going to Vegas, by all accounts, half of Edmonton's in Vegas right now, which is
I can see everybody.
which is like I can feel the FOMO actually from my neighbors right now listening to the show, going, "Gosh, I should have got a ticket to Vegas to go watch this game." So yeah, this is hyped up. I think this is the closest that you're going to get to a playoff field type of game during the regular season until game 83. This is huge for both teams. I don't know. Maybe it's the constant EST shows of everyone pumping this game up in the smiles and the additional White Claws of beverages, the Bob Stauffer making an appearance, like downing a 1.5 liters of Red Bull. Like this is magical stuff, Tommy, that we're being part of. I'm looking forward to this. I haven't looked forward to a hockey game in a long time, and I have to say that I might have to actually go throw the leather on just for tonight.
Hell yeah. Get that leather going, Joaquin. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin Gage with you. If you're listening on TuneIn or the audio stream, we appreciate it. 780-218-9999. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you already haven't. On our way to 7,000 subscribers. Pretty good in like 6 months of being on air. So we're going to keep climbing, build up that audience, and people have found out that we have a lot of fun here on EST. And we brought the show on the road, literally, to Las Vegas. I think the boys are going to have a great time. Ooh, Gager, the showgirls are now approaching the Oilers net in their zone, and they're going to kick out a bunch of Oilers fans. They've got, like, the big headpieces, like I don't know what those are called. But, and I'm assuming the Chippendale dancers will be back there. This town, man, this town. There's a lot of craziness. And that's what I want to ask you, because they did have an IHL team here. They did have an ECHL team here as well. Did you ever play during your pro career here in Vegas at all? Did you ever – I know you were in the AHL, but did you get into the IHL?
Just for training camp one time. We went up and it was a preseason kind of thing with us, Chicago, Boston, and the Las Vegas Thunder at the time. So okay. I played a preseason game against the Thunder that year. I think it was Radek Bonk was the 17-year-old, like
Wow.
was supposed to be the Yager and he had the full mullet flowing back there and stuff. So yeah, managed to eke out a victory in a preseason. Was supposed to play against Manon Rayon because she was with the team at that point.
Wow.
But
Okay.
They of all accounts she was going to play that game or whatever, half or whatever it was.
Right.
But they said no before the game. And
what?
Yeah, and I was outside doing up my sticks, and she was going ballistic in the hallway because they told her she wasn't going to play. So
wow,
I felt bad. It would have been fun to play.
Yeah,
against.
Trailblazer for sure, and that was what 25 years ago.
Yeah, we don't have to mention that, Tommy. There's no need for that, but it happened.
Yeah, right. You're a young man.
There's a longer time frame for sure,
yeah.
but let's not reveal anything further.
We'll leave that there. Do you remember, like, did you guys I'm assuming if it's preseason, you guys got after it here in Vegas back then?
I distinctly remember at a blackjack table with Kelly Buckberger, Doug Waite, I think Zdeno Seeger was there.
Zdeno Seeger.
Yeah, it was a fun night, the first night, because we had the day off. But I was a young pup that was scared if I got a call to the room checking if guys were in, right? So
right.
The first night we had a green light, so I mean, I don't think I lasted as long as most. Some guys were looking a little bit. They rolled straight in to practice the next day.
Yep.
And to get the poison out. Very interesting practice, but no, unfortunately I didn't partake as much as some more established veterans and getting to know Vegas on an intimate level.
Oh, I like the way you worded that. And excellent Zdeno Seeger reference, right? Like worst helmet by far in Oilers history. Like it was a bad Jofa.
Oh yeah, and he was pissed at me too because I was on fuego at the blackjack table. I think I couldn't lose, and I was just hitting and doing the and so yeah. And then finally, I think Bucky pulled me out of there. And
Bucky of all people.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, Joaquin Gage. Adin Hill leading the Golden Knights onto the ice. The Oilers about to come out. Stewart Skinner leading them out as well. He was asked today about, getting consideration for the Four Nations face-off. What do you think of the way he's emerging, and what would you say about our nation's goaltending situation, Gager?
Oh God, we went through the list of Canadian goaltenders, I think, over the past few decades, and I think you can go back to even to like Rogie Vachon, Ken Dryden, and you move forward, Grant Fuhr,
right?
You go to Patrick Waugh, Curtis Joseph, Martin Brodeur, then you get into Carey Price, Roberto Luongo, like it. These are Hall of Fame careers that we're talking about. So now they've set the standard so high that we look at the current crop of guys that we have, and we're like, oh, we're weaker than other nations. Look, this is Stuart Skinner's second year in the league, and right now, arguably one of the best goaltenders in the NHL. Does a lot depend on the defensive structure of the team? Absolutely. But what we've seen from Stuart Skinner is a goalie that's actually now, in my mind, he's an NHL goaltender. He gives you NHL-type goaltending. And what I mean by that is he can be considered one of the 3 stars every night. Right. And that is the true mark of an NHL guy. There are saves that he makes that can change the course of a game over these last 10 games, I would say, every single night that he's taking away goals from the other team on a consistent basis. He definitely should be talked about for representing Canada with his play. And if it keeps going, it's a no-brainer. I mean, there's competition, obviously, but he's definitely put himself into that conversation of hopefully wearing a Canadian jersey come time for the Four Nations Cup.
And obviously a formidable mustache. And it is a good reminder, and I'm glad you bring that up. It is his second full season in the NHL. And he's already been an All-Star, Calder finalist last year. pretty good, Gager.
He's I don't. He's been way above what I think you were expecting from Stuart Skinner at this stage of his career.
Yeah.
And you look at the age, the experience that he's gaining, it only gets better from here. I think that a goalie really, their best years are that 27, 28, 29 age range where they really start figuring things out and become kind of like those Connor Hellebucks, Vasilevsky. Right. That's when they really they're at the top of their game at that point. So we have a long runway still with Stuart Skinner to even become a better goaltender.
I don't know if you can hear this music, but it's unreal. And the bass is like insane. And I've got like noise canceling professional monitors in for broadcast, and like it's going right through, and I'm like, oh my god, hallelujah, I can hear you. So it's good. And then Gager, one of those like showgirls, like the dancers, they had them on the big screen. She was like dancing. I couldn't stop looking at somebody in oil country. Just copy this because this is amazing. It's amazing. Okay, let's get to a couple of texts. I know there's some questions that are coming in. I want to float this one from Big Dave to you. He brings up the Connor Brown thing. He says, how much more rope does he get after this break and with the deadline coming up? That's from Big Dave.
Well, it depends, Tommy. I in my mind, I think I don't have a problem with this forward group. I think it's formidable. Maybe you want a little bit more size in that bottom six, a little bit more bruising punishment. But I think what takes precedent over that is that reliable seventh veteran defenseman in a break glass in case of emergency type guy. Yep. That if something happens to one of your top guys can slide in there and take up minutes. I hate the talk of Kulak as trade bait. We've seen what he's accomplished in playoffs. He raises the level of his game to a 3-4 defenseman when over the last few years. He's a guy that can, I think, moonlight if something happens to one of the either Darnell Nurse or CC at that point. So, but I think you got to look to solidify the D because it's a long grind, and this isn't about making the playoffs. This is what we've referred to as a cup run at this point, and there's an inevitability of injuries happening through that grind.
Gager, fantastic work on the pregame. We'll get at you on the postgame show. I can barely hear myself. Excellent stuff, my friend, and talk to you in a bit, okay?
All right, buddy. Take care.
There you go. That was Game Changers with our analyst, Joaquin Gage. Game Changers, as always, brought to you by Damon Bunting, Remax Elite. There's Mark Spector. Say hi, Spec.
Hey, how's it going? There you
go. Mark's sitting next to me, and then there's Daniel Nugent-Bowman. I don't know where you're sitting, and there's Derek Van Diest. It's a party up here. Say hi, boys. DVD, good rink report today. Say hi, say hi.
Hi, gang. How you doing?
There you go, Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. So the Edmonton contingent rolling in. Speaking of rolling in, let's roll into some more video from the Oilers locker room. We have Derek, Ryan, Zack to come. Let's roll that bad boy.
But does that conversation even happen in this dressing room, or are you guys just focused on the small things, winning your next shift, winning your next period, winning your next hockey game?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of that and a little bit of, just trying to get our game in order here after the break. Been off of games here for over a week, and it's just we're trying to get back to where we were playing before. And we also felt like maybe the last few games we've been winning games in certain ways we don't want to win them, maybe giving up a little too much and not creating enough offensively. So, yeah, not really. I don't think the streak really, it comes up briefly maybe after games, keep it going, that kind of stuff, but that's not where the focus is. I know it's what everyone wants to talk about, but it's the not so sexy things that are being talked about in here.
All right, let's talk about that. What kind of mental discipline does it take as a collective to make sure you guys are focusing on the right things and not necessarily getting too far ahead of yourselves, looking too much into the street?
Yeah, honestly, we just don't even really think about it that much. I don't think we're all pros here. We've been in the NHL for different lengths of time, but everyone's been a pro for a while, and that's what the NHL life is day to day.
It's a long season. There's 82 games. There's lots of practices. So you come to the rink every day and try and get better. And then we're coming off a little bit of a break, so we're trying to get our game in order in that regard and just feel good about ourselves. So, yeah, not a huge topic in our dressing room.
Where do you think the biggest improvement lies from this club right now from October?
Confidence, details, execution, all the little things that your dad teaches you when you're a little kid, they come to fruition in the NHL too. So it's, obviously not just one big thing. It's a lot of little things adding up to more success.
That's what makes Dad so great, isn't it? They focus on the simple things. All right, so you guys are taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. Of course, a rematch of the second round series last year. Does that linger at all? Does that give you guys a little extra fuel and add it to the fire coming into tonight?
I don't think so. I think maybe we see it as a possible playoff matchup this year, so we need to make sure our game's in order against them for those reasons. Last season's last season. It's the past. We're a different team. They're a different team. In this league, I talk about being a long season, 82 games. You always have to be looking forward and moving forward. If you're looking at your last game or even last week or last month, and then like you're talking about last year, that can just eat you alive pretty well.
Well, they're in a rhythm right now, 5-1-1 in their last 7 games. Now, obviously coming off that break as well. When they're in a rhythm, what parts of their game are going that gives you guys the biggest challenge?
Yeah, their depth. They have a lot of depth up and down their lineup. They play their lines pretty evenly. Their power play is pretty elite. Have to be aware of that. Their stars are really good. I think their D-core is pretty good. Their puck-moving D, so it's hard to get in on the forecheck and get pucks stopped and sustain some O-zone time. Their D-zone structure is kind of that Boston Bruins steel balls that everyone's talking about. Where the D kind of go back and forth, and trying to create some offensive zone time against that is a challenge.
All right, there was Derek Ryan. There's a lot to look at here. I'm watching Oiler fans just all over the glass. I love it. You got the showgirls dancing to the super loud music. The boys, the Edmonton crew has rolled in here at press level at T-Mobile Arena, and we've got all of our listeners and our viewers along for the ride as well as we get you set for the Oilers and the Golden Knights. 6 minutes remaining in warm-up. There's Zack to come. Zack to come, did you have something to say? You just want to say hi? Are you wearing the Golden Knights hat again? He tried to get everybody. No, what's going on, pal?
Well, no, we're just cooking over here, and I just want to say I'm sorry for wearing the wrong hat. 17 is my lucky number, just to put that out there.
Okay, good to know. Duly noted. A couple of things to get to in the nasty chat. Herbert says, watching in North Carolina in Rocky Mount. So put that one on our EST world map, Zack to come, or get YouTube Trev on it. And then Dustin asking, what's the crowd looking like percentage-wise for Oilers fans? Man, there's a lot of orange and blue in the crowd. You're starting to see some gold and gray roll in here, but I don't know, Spec. What do you think? How many Oiler fans, what's the percentage, Oiler fans to Golden Knight fans for warm-up right now?
I'm going to guess it's going to be 800, 1,000 in here by the time we're done.
That's a lot. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Pretty darn impressive. All right, we'll see how things continue here with the crowd and the egress and see if more orange than gold starts popping up in the stands here at T-Mobile Arena, especially down low in the Oilers zone right now for warm-up. There's a lot of Oilers jerseys for sure. JCD says, Dusty sent in a text earlier saying if he ever sees that hat again, Zack to come, you're getting fired.
Oh, no. Okay, I'll never wear it again. You will never see me in that hat. I'm going to go burn it after this.
There you go. All right. Speaking of the Golden Knights, let's go into their locker room from earlier today. Let's hear from head coach Bruce Cassidy.
We saw Bruce on skating on the fourth line. Do you ask anything differently out of him in that spot than the spots he's played in, which are obviously a little different lines?
No, that's just this morning. We got a different animal in our building tonight with Draisaitl and McDavid as our two guys that can roll over the boards in the middle of the ice or together. So I think putting Ronberg with Carlson, if we're going to use Carly in a checking matchup, is a better fit for Ronnie than it is for Brisson. It's that simple. He's played in the league longer. Ronnie, it's his strength is kind of checking, penalty killing. So that's the idea behind that, and that just pushes Briss down with Howie and Colasar. Briss needs to build his game here. I've said it many times, the young guys that are going to play here are going to be good two-way players, and we're going to help them become two-way players, and they're going to bring whatever strength of their game is. For him, it happens to be he's a goal scorer. He's good on the power play, so get some opportunities there. As a goal scorer, it's tougher to score on maybe a checking line than up with, we know that. So he's played with both. We had him with Jack in training camp. We try to get a feel for how that would go. So, but at the end of the day, when he's on the ice, he still has to be good on the walls, be reliable, play his position well. And when the puck does find him, hopefully he can do some good things with it. Like what he typically can. And it may not find him as much with certain lines, but we'll see. It's been a short sample size. And so that's the thinking behind it. If we get behind him, we may mix it up, put him with Carly, because Carly can do both, right? He can check as well as anybody, and he's still a point a game for, he's a very good offensive player. So we're going to use him as the game goes, dictates tonight. I think when we get to Arizona, we'll kind of reset and see. No disrespect to them, but Draisaitl and McDavid are unique, so we're going to coach a little differently. Well, a lot, because if they want to get away from it, it's tougher for us to. I don't like to chase matchups. You can do it on the back end a little bit easier up front. It just allows them too much easy ice. I think if you're going to chase it, you can certainly try to find ways to get it. But at the end of the day, at home, you can usually. Well, the face-off, it's easy. I mean, unless you're asleep, you can see them come out there. And on the fly, usually you have assistant coaches can look at each bench, see who's coming over. So there's little games within the games. But I don't think they're going to be worried about it, to be honest, in a game in February about toggling guys back and forth. I could be wrong on that. Maybe, like I said, from a face-off and an icing, they want to get away from a matchup. It's easy to do. There's always ways, but it's hard to get away from a matchup on the fly sometimes without disrupting your bench. But again, coaches are different and they'll do what they have to do. And but we won't chase it because we feel that Nick Wasline's played really well. Howie's a good defensive centerman, so is Stevie. But Carly and Jack played very well against them last year in the playoffs, and so did Teddy Bluger. Teddy's not here, so that's a problem if we want to use him. So we know that we've had some guys that made it harder on him. He's still going to get the puck and make plays, but if we can make him really work for his ice, I think it works to our advantage. Crisp, execute well, get to your game quickly. Coming out of a break, that's sometimes an issue. Getting them, back into live action, the physicality part of it. So I'd like to see us be on our toes right away because I think both teams will go through those challenges. And if you can get the advantage early, I think it can help you.
Them playing the same style of defense you guys play, is that helpful? Is it easier for you to say, look, we know what we're doing?
Well, I'm guessing, I'm watching them a little bit, it seems. So I would say there's some similarities, whether it's exactly the same. But yes, because we know what works against us or where we can have some issues closing or allowing a little more time in our end. I've talked about that a lot. There's certain areas you want to protect, so you're going to give up the outside. So yes, it should help us a little bit. But there's other teams in the league that play similar to us too, like the box and one or whatever you want to call it, 5 on the dice. We don't really call it that, but at the end of the day, where you can use the half walls to buy some time till they recover their back of the net if D are handing off. So we know some certain areas you might be able to get, like I said, an extra second or two, and hopefully we're able to exploit those.
I know you have an appreciation for Carlson brings a good boost. He's in the lineup. Does it jump out even more when you don't have to?
Well, when you lose him and Jack, you lose a lot of speed out of the middle, right? So it affects your face-off circle, but I mean, other guys can go in and make up for some of that, but your speed coming out of your end, right? If you're winning a board battle and they support the puck so well and they've got a lot of pace, so once they get the puck on their stick, they're dangerous. They're probably getting through the neutral zone just because of their speed. It's like when McDavid gets it in the right spot, it's like, okay, we'll see in 3 seconds at the other end because it's a pretty hard guy to stop unless you're right above them. So they have those qualities. So you're getting entries, right? 5-on-5 entries. And from there, it's always easier to score goals, usually if you're getting entries. can certainly do it on the forecheck, but it's a little bit easier when you have the puck. You have opportunities to score more off the rush. So those are some areas we miss them, and obviously in the checking game, right? Power play, he was doing a good job net front. PK with Jack, they were a threat to score every time they're on the ice. So got a lot of different areas where, we missed them, but it's up to someone else to get, step up and get the job done. We just had to win in different ways when you lose some of your key people, and we were able to do that at the end of January. We got it going in the right direction. That's what we want to keep doing.
All right, that was Vegas Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy. I'm just looking. The Showgirls have left the arena. They've left the Oilers zone. The Zambonis are on the ice. But I was laughing when the Oilers were playing Juice Boy at the end of warm-up. The Showgirl directly behind the net was banging on the glass, shaking what her mama gave her, and blowing kisses to Oilers players who didn't seem to be paying attention. I don't know how you missed that. So very interesting, very entertaining, very Vegas indeed, trying to bring you closer to some of the action and what's going on here at T-Mobile Arena. 780-218-9999 if you want to text us. I have a few texts that I want to get to right away here. And if you're watching, you can hit us up on the Nasty Chat. Of course, this is one of 8 games on the schedule around the National Hockey League tonight. Let's get you up to speed on what happened elsewhere in Boston. The Calgary Flames 4-1 victory over the Bruins. The Dallas Stars 2-1 on the Buffalo Sabres. They win that one. Vancouver 3-2 winners in Carolina tonight. The Flyers defeat the Florida Panthers in Florida 2-1. And then Pittsburgh 3-0. They defeat the Winnipeg Jets in Pitt. You got the Habs getting the better of the Washington Capitals 5-2. That one a final. And then third period action in New Jersey has the Devils up 3-1 on the Colorado Avalanche. And then the late game tonight, we'll see the Golden Knights host the Oilers. And a lot of victories from visiting teams. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 7 games so far have been won by the visiting team. Will the Oilers make it 6? Can Colorado get a comeback in the last 12 minutes against New Jersey down 2 goals? We shall see. All right, let's get to the inbox, 780-218-9999. Bruce says, Tom, my buddy is the guy with the bad shirt you were yelling at with Jack Michaels this morning. Loud shirt guy was also one of the refs in the stands in the World Juniors. Tommy addressed the loud shirt guy allegations. Yes, Bruce, I was chirping the loud shirt. It's not a bad shirt, but it was early in the morning. I was feeling excited, and I chirped him. Zack, and I have to admit, Zack, to come that Jack's suit was it's tan. It's got a lot of pleats in it. It looked like it's about 3 decades old. So I expect more from Jack Michaels in his suit game in Las Vegas. Spruce Grove Corey texting in says, just flipped on the pregame. What's that mic, Tommy? Yeah, this is the Snowball mic. I'm using it. Usually I have it off camera, but it's so loud here that I had to put it closer to my mouth. And then Tommy Rubella says, the hat sucks, the Knights suck, but damn it, stick to your guns. Zack to come earlier wearing a Golden Knights hat. And then Vance Van Vandervan chiming in. Vance Van Vandervan says, it's a test. Stick to your guns. Put the damn hat back on. No one likes someone that gives into peer pressure. So there you go, Zack to come. People want you to wear that hat. Some don't. Some say you'll get fired. Dusty already threatening you with that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do not listen to Vance Van Zack to come.
I won't.
What hat do you have on?
I still got the black Nike hat on, and I'm not planning on changing. The hat is currently on the floor, and I might stomp on it a couple times before puck drop.
There you go. There you go. All right, let's go into the nasty chats. This one says, how many stimulants has he taken? Who? Another one from Eric says, this guy trying to convince himself. Cassidy on more. Oh, I see what you guys are talking about. Nasties, you guys go crazy. Bobby LaFrench says, where's Stauffer? Stauffer is in one of the boxes and back and to the left. And he's on the air right now on their pregame show. What else do we have? Spency 5 cents. He says Jack's suit is probably his lucky one he's actually had for 30 years. Maybe sick pleats from Jack and his tan suit. All right, it's getting close to game time here. They're getting the show started. The Fortress is coming alive. A lot of Oiler fans obviously, Edmonton fans travel very, very well, and I know Dusty, Eric, and Awanik are among the Oilers faithful. I'm not sure where. I'll probably meet up with them in the intermission and probably say hi to a bunch of people from back home who've made the trek down here to Vegas. If you didn't catch it earlier in the show, let's go over the lineups for tonight for the Oilers. McDavid with Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. Draisaitl, Kane, and Fogle. McLeod between Holloway and Perry. And then Derek Ryan with Janmark and Connor Brown. On defense for the Oilers, Nurse paired up with CC, Ekholm with Bouchard, Kulak with Desharnais. As for the Vegas Golden Knights, Nicholas Waugh with Ivan Barbashev and Jonathan Marchessault on his flanks. Chandler Stevenson between Paul Cotter and Mark Stone. William Karlsson centering Jonas Ronberg and Michael Amadio. And then Brett Howden between Brendan Brisson and Keegan Colasar. On defense for Vegas in this one, Alec Martinez with Alex Pietrangelo. Braden McNabb with Caden Korzak. And then Nicholas Hague with Zach Whitecloud. Injured for the Golden Knights. Some significant ones here. Jack Eichel, namely, one of those. IR, lower body. Pavel Dorofeev, day-to-day upper body. William Carrier, IR, upper body. Shea Theodore, that's a big one. IR, upper body. Ben Hutton, IR, upper body. And Tobias Bjornfoot, IR, undisclosed. Starting goalies for the Oilers, 25-year-old Stewart Skinner. 23, 9, and 1. 244 goals against average. 910 save percentage. 2 shutouts in 34 games this season. Skinner versus the Golden Knights, a 3-0-1 record, 362 GAA, 872 save percentage in 4 games against Vegas over the course of his young career. And then at the other end of the rink, it is 27-year-old Adin Hill getting the nod, 12-2-2 for the Golden Knights this season, 194 goals against average, 936 save percentage, 2 shutouts in those 17 games. Adin Hill versus the Oilers, 3 appearances lifetime in his career, 0-1-1 record, 262 GAA, 889 save percentage in those 3 appearances. Just some stats to throw your way as we head into this one. Edmonton 13-9 on the season on the road. They've won 9 in a row away from Rogers Place. The Golden Knights, meanwhile, 18-5-2 here at T-Mobile Arena. They've won 3 straight home games. Edmonton is 6-4 all-time here in Vegas. The Oilers have won 4 straight games here as well. And Edmonton all-time versus the Golden Knights, a 12-6-2 record, 7-1-2 in the last 10 against Vegas. And Edmonton versus the Pacific this season, a 10-4 record. The Golden Knights, meanwhile, 9-5-2 versus the Pacific Division. The Oilers do have 5 games in hand on the Golden Knights. Edmonton's power play, 4th in the National Hockey League, heading into action tonight, 27%. Meanwhile, the PK has made its way up to 6th in the NHL at 83%. Chipping in with 4 shorties as well. Golden Knights power play is 20.1%. That's good for 18th in the National Hockey League. And then the PK for Vegas, 14th overall in the NHL at 80.6% with 6 short-handed tallies. All right, let's see if we got any text to get to before we wrap things up and let the show get going here on the ice. Box Pounder says, I'm going to have nightmares about Stauffer becoming a showgirl. Oh, didn't want that thought creeping into my head. Thanks a lot, Box Pounder. Appreciate that. That is a nasty, nasty chat. That is nasty. Eric says, I vote for external chat. I vote Discord server. Absolute chaos. What are you guys getting up to? What are you guys getting up to? And then Joel says, hey, Tommy, the fans came to watch the game, not the showgirls that were behind the Oilers' net, banging on the glass, shaking, dancing, trying to get the players' attention, blowing kisses to the players. None of the players. I don't know if what would you do, Zach? I wouldn't hesitate to like wink at one of them. I would do it.
I mean,
and then I'd be very nervous.
If there's some attention there, I mean, you kind of got to look that way, you know. If you're on the ice there, you have to.
You have to. Hampton Steve wants to know what was the meal tonight in the press box. I didn't have it. I did see some kettle chips. I'm going to go have a coffee. It's a little chilly up here, but that's going to do it for the Oil Stream pregame show. A huge thank you to everyone who tuned in, texted in, watched us, listened to us. Man, it should be a great game tonight. The Oilers and the Golden Knights. Edmonton seeking a 17th straight victory. This barn is hopping. Lots of orange and blue in attendance. Bring it on. Edmonton coming out of the break looking for a big win over their Pacific Division rivals. We'll see if they can get it done. For Joaquin Gage and Zack to come and YouTube Trev, I'm Tom Gazzola saying enjoy the Oilers versus the Golden Knights. We'll catch you on the postgame show. Ciao for now.